Yeah, this was a grinded out a little bit. I know the final score doesn't really say that, but I felt like it was a team that was going to stick around for a long time, and they did. And with the way that they play, they just can be so dangerous, how fast and athletic they are. And obviously came out firing. Number 0, I think she just hit some of those shots early, and that's never what you want, is for one of those key players to start gaining confidence early. But she had 10 like that, and then had 5 the rest of the game. So credit our players for really locking down. Actually, I think she maybe only had 2 in the whole second half. So that was a key thing. Felt like McQueen was going to start to do a little bit more, and she did, but we just guarded. And I think if that is going to continue to be our MO and our focus, then I think the sky's the limit, because we're just really locked in on that end of the floor.
The second quarter, you guys went on a nice little run there. Just talk about how key that was going into halftime.
Yeah, that was important. I felt like up until that point we were getting good looks. We just weren't hitting them. And Callie Genke, for example, had really good looks, and that with the way that she's shooting it, you want her taking those shots. Just didn't knock a few of those down. Missed a couple of layups, and then they kind of turn it into quick points on the other end. So you're like, if we could just capitalize on this end and take this 7-point lead and make it to 12, you start to feel a little bit better. We did that right before halftime, and then went kind of back down in the third quarter again, and just had really good looks. Just could not find a way to score it, and didn't shoot well in the quarter at all. But I'm really proud of the fourth quarter, because it just feels like we completely let that go and moved forward.
Kayla, what's different about this team where they are now where they were a month ago? Like, what's changed with this team? And I wouldn't say change, but what are they doing better, and what have you liked throughout this last course of the month?
Confidence, I think, is a huge one. I just think that it's not that they weren't before. It's just I think that there's some people now, when they let it come off their hands from the three-point line, they feel like it's going in, and the rest of their teammates do too. And even then, when they keep it close, and we're in an 8-point game, just the confidence of like, we're going to keep and stay with it and stay with it and stay with it, and where is this team's breaking point? And sometimes those are sooner than others in league play, but I think the confidence of on the defensive end, knowing that your teammates have your back and that we're going to continue to get stops, I see a different look to them now than I did a month ago, and I think confidence is a big reason why.
Jazz, 1,000 points. Congrats. And
thank you.
Can you just kind of talk about that and what this university has meant just throughout your whole playing career?
Yeah, I think the biggest piece of it is just like how fortunate I am, 1, to be here, 2, to be able to play for the 5 years that I did, because I know it's not a given when you're a freshman coming into college basketball, like no one expects it. But I think just the fact that I was given that chance and just trying to take it and run with it as much as I can.
You're a very adamant player when you're on the sidelines and everything. Or when you scored your 1,000th, it was just like, I
had no clue.
So you didn't know?
No, I heard the commotion in the crowd, and I thought it was like the 1-minute warning, and I looked up and there were still 4 minutes left, and I was like, okay, what's going on? Don't really know, but I came out and coach told me, so. But
that's true. Yeah. She said, really?
Yeah. It's just, but yeah. It's a good feeling.
Kayla, to have a player like Jazz, what does her play and her presence on the court mean to this team, and how proud are you of her? I know it's only your first year coaching her, but just how proud?
Yeah, I mean, I think I could see from day one, probably my press conference, the type of personality that Jazz is, and how welcoming and warm she is for people. And you could see right away that she was a teammate that was really well liked by everybody. And then you watch her play and you're like, well, I understand why too, because not only are you like that as a person, as a player, she catches it in the post and you can tell she's looking for everybody else first before herself, sometimes to a fault. And so I just think she's one of the best teammates that I've seen and I've ever been around, and she really has so much respect from not only her teammates but her coaches and all these fans, and she impacts a lot of lives. And I think that as a person, you're just so proud of who she is. And yeah, I've only been fortunate enough to coach her for this season, but from what I've heard and from little bits that I've seen, she's really grown as a player. And I think there's a lot of people that I don't even know if you thought that you would expect to be a 1,000-point scorer and leave your legacy on this program the way that you have. And I think that's a remarkable thing to watch players grow. I mean, that's why coaches get in it, and that's why we stay in it. And I haven't had the luxury of doing that, but from what I've heard, this has been a work in progress for her to get to this point. And then she goes 9 for 9 from the free throw line and seals the deal. And you can see her confidence growing as a senior now, as a fifth-year senior, and how a really cool player that she is right now, and a huge leader for us in a lot of different respects. So we're going to rely on her down the stretch.
Talk about that post game. Early on, it seemed like a lot was in and out, trying to get. You got a lot of threes, but then
Yeah.
down the stretch, she took you home. Just both kind of talk about that. You had the size on it.
Well, we did. Going into it, we felt like we had the size advantage, and we typically get it inside a lot anyways, and then take advantage if they do collapse on us to look to kick it outside. Didn't feel like we had a lot of those opportunities earlier. Maybe we weren't capitalizing on it, but down the stretch, it seemed like our players, it really clicked, like we were going inside, and Jazz had great position, and then was really able to get to the free throw line nicely and knock those down.
Jazz, did you have any family in attendance or friends or?
Oh,
any,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just how cool is it to see them in the stands? I know you're probably locked in on the game, but just to have them here for a moment like this.
I mean, it means the world to me. They're obviously my biggest supporters, and just them driving the 2 hours every single home game, it means the world. But they're the loudest, rowdiest group out of the whole arena, and you can hear them a mile
Is that where
away.
you get it from?
Yeah, it's hereditary.
Jazz, and then where do you think this team is at, and what do you like right now from the player side?
I mean, obviously everything feels good after a win, but we also have a lot of work to do for where we want to be. So I think just taking this, enjoying it for the night, and resetting tomorrow, and regrouping for Saturday, and just keep building the blocks.
Was it nice to see Bailey back out there because you've
Yeah.
so many injuries, and just to see her back and out there playing, not have to worry about not having another person out there.
Yeah, it was good for our team, I think, and for Bailey to get back out on the floor and do what she did again against athleticism and kids who are trying to drive to the rim all the time. That's not easy defensively, coming back off the injury that she had. So I thought she gave great minutes tonight, and I thought Maya stepped in and, of course, last Saturday had a really big game for us and gained a lot of confidence from that game and steps into today and like nothing's changed there. So between the two of them having 12 assists and 1 turnover, you can't say enough about our point guard play, and I think still 1 and 2 in the league in assist to turnover ratio between the two of them. So it's huge against a team like this who wants to pressure you and force those turnovers. We really took care of the ball extremely well. So we've faced adversity and injuries, and I don't think we're alone in that. I think teams across the country here and there go through stuff like that. But we've been hit with it with a couple big ones, and I just credit the depth that we've had. Going into the year, we talked a lot about our depth and how excited we were about that. I didn't really think, I was hoping we didn't have to use it as far as the injury bug goes and having to step in, but it's the luxury of having the 7 seniors that we do, and then Maya having, coming in and with that leadership from the school that she was at prior, and all of a sudden you have 8, 9, 10 reliable people you can go to. That depth is proving to be a very important thing right now.
Coach, is this kind of what you expected from this group when you got the job and now you guys are kind of humming and grooving and you're in a groove? Is this kind of what you expected from this?
Yeah, I've been asked that before, and I don't know how to answer that really, because I don't think I sat down prior to the season and mapped out what I thought, so it's hard to answer. But I think going in and seeing how early practices went, I could see not only the leadership that they had and how hard they worked, but I could see their hunger, and I could see how in this program they've been taught, and they knew that every year it resets and then the target gets bigger on your back, and that they knew that. So I've seen just such a solid group of people from the start that I thought could be really special, and it was just a matter of transition time and smoothing a lot of things out and building confidence, right? And there's a lot that goes into a coaching change, and I give these players all the credit because they have made it really smooth on me and the rest of our coaches. They've embraced us and what we're trying to tweak, and maybe that's different from what they already did, but they've really welcomed that, and that's not easy to do when you've experienced success doing it maybe a different way. And but regardless of what I expected or didn't, I'm really proud of where we're at, and like Jazz said, we're never satisfied, so we look at this and think there's a lot we still have to fix, but I like the direction that we're headed.
Quick scouting part of Oakland coming up.
Yeah.
What do you know about them and what they bring to the table?
Well, I don't know if she still is, but #1 leading scorer in the conference, and I'm gonna screw up Ski. I'm going to butcher her last name, but #2. So really solid guard who can score at 3 levels, and she has been really good for them. I think they won in overtime earlier today. So up and down. They had a really big win against Cleveland State and then dropped the next few after that, and got a bounce back win today. So a little bit of zone team. I think they're just going to be a tough matchup. I continue to say I think we're going to get everybody's best shot. I'm glad we have another home game on Saturday and be able to get our crowd behind us, but I think it's going to be another tough one that we're going to see. They're going to continue to compete with us for as long as they can.